Welcome to the show, Sid.
Hi, thank you for inviting me.
It's lovely to have you on. So it's the first time we've had a pharmacist on the show. So would you like to start by telling us what a pharmacist actually does? Because there's a little bit of confusion sometimes, isn't there?
Yeah, and it's great insight that you've actually asked me to come on, because there's a lot of mystery about what pharmacists do. Most people tend to think pharmacists are the sort of place you go get your prescriptions dispensed and buy the odd packet of tablets.
Yeah.
But we're much more fundamental than that. Sure, we do dispense over 1 billion prescriptions out of 11,500 pharmacies a year, and that's really important because any civilized society, the ready access to medicines is fundamental.
Yeah.
But more importantly than that, if you think we are just about dispensing and prescribing, you're missing out a hell of a lot, because we are a hub of resources to services. So I am a prescriber, for example, around travel health. We do NHS heart health checks that will give you a percentage score of what likelihood you're going to get a cardiac event. We would be also doing clinical services like hepatitis B, hepatitis C, flu jabs, as well as the core roles around public health, self-help, independent living. So our roles really are around promoting health, preventing disease, and prolonging the quality of your life. So we're far more than just pill counters and shopkeepers.
So in this case, will people just walk in and just ask for help in these services, or do you have to kind of book before for certain things?
Most of the time you can walk straight in, and that's the beauty of pharmacy, because we are the only scientifically literate professionals on the high street. You don't need appointments to see us. Maximum wait's about 10-15 minutes. You can come in weekends. You don't have to take time off work because we're open after office hours. And more importantly, we have consultation rooms now. We have they're soundproofed. You can take somebody in with you if you like. Everything's confidential. We have access to summary care records now, so you can work with your past case history, so your advice is accurate and up to date. So pretty much you can just walk in and ask for a service. And if we can't help you, we can always act as gatekeepers to refer you on to other pharmacies or other healthcare professionals that do help you. Not just a GP, as important as they are, but nurses, optometrists, OTs, that sort of thing.
I have to admit, Sid, that I am actually guilty of just thinking you guys will just, take care of our prescriptions. But I have been corrected, and I'm learning, I'm sure a lot of the viewers are learning, so that's brilliant. So it's good to know that you can actually, I don't know why I just don't. I just tend to go to the doctor rather than asking my pharmacist, ask for advice or anything. So it's really good to know that. So can you tell us maybe some of the common mistakes that people make when they are taking medication in certain things?
Well, that's an eye-opener. How long have you got? I mean, every day's a school day as a community pharmacist. If you go into work as a community pharmacist, then you always have to do that extra mile, because you don't know who's going to come through the door. But I dare say a lot of the common mistakes are people taking out-of-date medicines, sharing medicines, people storing their medicines in bathroom cabinets so they're nice and wet and moist, and the gels and the capsules are stuck together. But sometimes you have common mistakes where people, for example, are still taking medication that should have been stopped, but by the hospital, for example, the GPs have carried it on because of breakdown of communication somewhere, which is not the GP's fault. So, for example, we had one situation where a lady was taking 2 sets of tablets and they were interacting each other, so the treatment actually was not working whatsoever. And that's not good for the taxpayer, it's not good for the NHS. And one of the common mistakes that people do, as you quite rightly point out, is you'd automatically go and see a GP. You don't think of the pharmacist's first port of call, even though you don't have a 3 or 4 week waiting list. And it's estimated that 57 million consultations a year that people go to see a GP, take up all the GP's time unnecessarily, or an A&E, and all that money that's invested in that could be easily sorted out at a community pharmacy.
Wow. So how about disposing of medicines?
Yes, a lot of people don't know this, but you just take them back to your pharmacy. We would dispose of them free of charge. A lot of the services in pharmacy are either free or private, but this is one of the free ones that we do. We've also had not just medicines that have expired, but medicines that people have either asked for by the doctor and then not taken because they have not followed advice, which is always sets alarm bells ringing. We also have fake medicines that they've bought off the internet, because you can't just take it back if it doesn't look right or it crumbles too badly. So it's very important you bring them back to us, because we would dispose of medicines as well as needle sharps if you're diabetic or if you're using drugs illegally, which is out there. So we have ways and means of disposing them safely so you don't pollute the planet. So in so many ways, pharmacy is a resource that nobody knows that they can use.
Okay. Now, just a common question I think a lot of people have, the difference between paracetamol and ibuprofen. would that be?
Yes, well, there's a lot of differences. I mean, for example, ibuprofen is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, and it has its purpose around inflammation and pain. Paracetamol is also about pain, but it also deals with fever, but they work differently. But the biggest thing you would differentiate between paracetamol and ibuprofen is in who can use it and who can't. So if you're pregnant, you can't use, for example, ibuprofen. If you're breastfeeding, you can't use ibuprofen. If you're pregnant, you can use paracetamol. If you wanted a cream, then obviously ibuprofen could work a lot better. So it's really depending on the contraindication, adverse drug reactions of one or the other. And that's why we say don't share medicines, because although you might have the same symptoms, you might be the same age, same gender, your case histories will be different. That's why pharmacists will always want to ask you questions privately to not be nosy, but to ascertain what is the best treatment that you would have at the best time for you right now. That's why don't be shy or be fearful of being asked questions, and to answer them as honestly as possible. We're not there to judge, we are there to help you.
That's brilliant. So thank you so much. It's been such an eye-opener, and I shall value my pharmacists much more from now on. I shall ask some questions before booking an appointment at my doctor's surgery.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.